Now, the hate speech laws that they've brought in, they're not to use to stop hate. They're used to control the native population to be silent whilst they're destroying our country.
David Lammy visibly uncomfortable as Tommy Robinson challenges him live on air. You're not going to believe what just happened. In one of the most unexpected live TV moments of the year, Labour MP David Lammy found himself face-to-face with Tommy Robinson, and let's just say, it didn't go the way anyone expected. The atmosphere was electric. Cameras rolling, the audience holding its breath. And then, Robinson did what he's best known for, he challenged Lammy head-on. But what caught everyone off guard wasn't the question itself, it was Lammy's reaction. A brief pause. A nervous smile. A few carefully chosen words. But you could feel the tension through the screen. And within seconds, the clip went viral. So, what actually happened? The exchange took place during a televised debate on national policy and social unity, a topic both men are known to have strong, opposing views on. Lammy, as always, spoke with the confidence of a seasoned politician. He emphasized community harmony, the role of government in shaping integration, and the importance of collective responsibility. But when it was Robinson's turn, the tone shifted dramatically. He leaned forward, looked directly at Lammy, and said almost too calmly, "You talk about unity, David, but where's that unity when people feel ignored in their own communities? You can't represent people you don't even listen to." The room went quiet. Lammy's expression changed immediately from composure to visible discomfort. He adjusted his papers, gave a tight smile, and tried to steer the discussion back to policy. But the moment was already out there, captured, clipped, and spreading across social media faster than the network could even cut to commercial. What followed next was nothing short of a digital firestorm. Within hours, hashtags like #Lammy vs. Robinson and #LiveDebateClash were trending across X, formerly Twitter. Clips of the exchange racked up hundreds of thousands of views. Some called it a powerful example of political accountability, others said it was unfair ambush television. One viewer wrote, "Finally someone asked what many have been thinking but no one dares to say out loud." Another responded, "That wasn't bravery, it was baiting. We need serious discussions, not stunts." But regardless of which side you were on, one thing was certain: everyone was talking about it. Let's pause here for a moment, because this wasn't just about one debate or one confrontation. This was about two very different visions of Britain colliding, live, in front of millions. David Lammy represents the mainstream political establishment, educated, articulate, careful with every word. Tommy Robinson, on the other hand, represents the outsider, blunt, confrontational, often criticized, but undeniably influential among parts of the public who feel unheard. And when those two forces meet, the sparks are inevitable. But this particular exchange went deeper. Because what Robinson did, intentionally or not, was expose the emotional gap in British politics. That feeling that politicians talk about the people, but rarely talk to them. And Lammy's hesitation, his unease that became a symbol of something bigger. Now, let's talk reactions inside Westminster. One senior Labour aide, speaking to a reporter off-camera, reportedly said, "It's frustrating. Lammy's done hundreds of debates, but that one clip will define him for months." Meanwhile, supporters of Robinson saw it as validation proof, they said, that mainstream politicians can't handle tough, unfiltered questions from outside the establishment. A political commentator on GB News summed it up perfectly. Whether you agree with him or not, Robinson forced a moment of raw honesty. And in a country tired of scripted answers, that counts for something. The irony. Both men were technically arguing for the same thing, a better Britain. But their visions couldn't be further apart. Lammy talked about policy frameworks, inclusion programs, funding, and public messaging. Robinson talked about trust, accountability, and the lived experience of ordinary people who feel disconnected from Westminster decisions. And when those two perspectives clashed, it wasn't just ideological, it was emotional. You could feel it in the room. The audience didn't cheer or boo, they just listened. And that silence spoke volumes. By the next morning, every major political show was replaying the moment. Piers Morgan even weighed in, saying, "It's rare to see a politician genuinely rattled." Lammy usually dominates these exchanges, but this time, he looked caught off guard. Meanwhile, Lammy's supporters defended him fiercely online, arguing that the debate was staged to provoke reaction rather than inform viewers. Others felt that Lammy's discomfort was understandable. Facing off with a polarizing figure live on national television is no small task. Still, that didn't stop the memes, the edits, the commentary. In the fast-moving world of online politics, perception becomes reality. And the perception was clear. Lammy looked uncomfortable, Robinson looked fearless. That's the clip the internet decided to remember. But let's not oversimplify this. Politics isn't about who won a moment on live TV. It's about what moments like this reveal. They reveal tension between the public and the political class, between free speech and public responsibility, between controlled narratives and raw emotion. And whether you love or hate Tommy Robinson, it's impossible to deny that his approach, blunt, emotional, unpolished, continues to expose something uncomfortable about Britain's political conversation. People are tired. Tired of talking points. Tired of the same answers wrapped in new slogans. They want authenticity even if it's messy. And that's where politicians like David Lammy find themselves walking a dangerous tightrope. How do you stay professional without sounding disconnected? As one newspaper headline put it the next day, Lammy learns the power of the viral moment. And that's exactly what this was, a viral moment, not a scandal, not an expose, but a raw, human moment that peeled back the polished layer of politics and showed us something real. Maybe Lammy didn't panic. Maybe he just realized, in that instant, that the old playbook doesn't work anymore. Because politics today isn't decided in Parliament, it's decided in clips, comments, and conversations online. And in that world, even a few seconds of hesitation can define a reputation. So, what happens next? Will Lammy respond? Will Robinson build on the momentum? Or will this moment fade into the noise of next week's headlines? No one knows. But one thing's for sure, that short, tense exchange on live TV reminded Britain that the real debates don't happen behind closed doors anymore. They happen in front of cameras, in real time, where the truth, or at least people's perception of it, can't be hidden. And as the dust settles, one question lingers. If one unscripted moment can shake a politician's image this much, what happens when more of these unfiltered confrontations start happening live? Because whether you agree with him or not, Tommy Robinson just changed the tone of political debate again. And David Lammy? He just got a front-row lesson in how unpredictable modern politics has become.